And of course, we're very excited and privileged to have what one would call a legend in her own right, a pedigree par excellence when it comes to acting and singing. That's Letoya Makhene-Pulumo, who's preparing to nourish our souls later this year. Her Isithunywa Sam African Spiritual Concert promises to be a celebration of songs and dance of traditional healers, and it takes place at the South African State Theatre in Pretoria in October. And she's putting out a casting call for dancers and drummers to perform alongside her, and with this appeal to audiences today, this is for today and tomorrow.
Yes.
So welcome to you, Thokoza. Very good to have you in studio.
Thank you
I mean,
so
the
much.
environment just shifted in terms of the energy, the positive light, the radiance that you brought into the studio. And I think it speaks of living your destiny. From as young as a 7-year-old, you knew that this was going to be your path.
I have. I think I'm one of the really, really blessed ones, because for some reason or whatever, besides, well, while not even knowing that I had this calling, I've just always had engagements and conversations with God from a very young age about my destiny, about what it is that God has intended for me to do here on this earth. Imagine being such a little baby and you already are wondering about your journey, because you realize it's not just to live and die, but I've been brought here for a purpose. And to find that my purpose aligns with all the God-given talents and gifts that I've been given, whether it's singing, whether it's acting, whether it's the certain roles that I take, whether it's in my songwriting, and even now my spiritual calling as a traditional health practitioner, isangoma, I have been able to extend all these other gifts and to encompass it all, and feed the nation and heal the nation with all my gifts and talents.
And I love that you've brought it even into modern age, if you like, because sometimes we grapple with spirituality, especially African knowledge systems and the Western way of doing things, and you've been able to strike that balance.
Well, it took me having to find my feet and finding that it became a little complicated for me to find this balance, because remember, at the end of this year, I will be a traditional healer for 22 years. And at that time, things had not evolved like they have evolved now. Then you go into initiation school, you come out, you're given a long list of do's and don'ts, what you can do, what you can't do. And basically you leave initiation school and you realize that who I was completely doesn't exist anymore. I'm not allowed to wear pants, I'm not allowed to do a lot of things. And it started creating a form of frustration with me, even within my spiritual journey, until I sat with self, until I sat with spirit, until I sat with God, Zozi, and I realized that who I am and what my gift is what is inside of me. It is not the outer appearance. So whether I wear pants or not, it is about who I am and the work that I carry and the clean work that I do that really, really is all that matters. And so I was able to slowly but surely integrate who I am, be proud of who I am as a sangoma, and still be proud of who I am as an artist.
Okay, now before we get into the production, and you're also creating employment, by the way, with Isithunywa Sam African Spiritual Concert. You'll explain what Isithunywa Sam means for the uninitiated, but also there's still the distinction between traditional healer, isangoma, and traditional doctor, or anything in between. Do you still find that there's still that level of, I suppose, ignorance?
Of course, but more than ignorance, I love how people are so hungry for spiritual enlightenment now. There was a time when people were ignorant of it because it was such a taboo, and people would disregard people like myself and look down on us because the world had taught them that people like us are devil worshippers, we don't belong with society. Instead of seeing us as white lighters, instead of seeing that we have a calling that comes from God. And today I find children, the up and coming youth and people that are breathing right now are so hunger for spirituality, African spirituality, to know their roots, their DNA, where they're coming from. And it also comes with them embracing their gift. Today, people have become proud to be the chosen ones, the called ones. You know, people are proud to have Isithunywa, and Isithunywa is our prophetic side of the gift. And when I say prophetic, it is this one works and aligns more with your prayer side of things, with the gogo who is aligned with God, the Holy Spirit. It is the gogo that heals with water, prayer, candles, not necessarily imiti or imbande. And then you have izangoma, who are also, we have a divination, and outside of being able to see and use maybe imbande, let's say imiti, and generally imiti omhlophe, unless maybe you do have a darker calling, we are called to heal, and we can use the earth and the strength of the earth, the trees that live, from the ground everywhere, the universe, the waters that give us life, that we are a part of, the earth that we are a part of, to continue with the healing. There are so many different forms and levels to how we heal, and we all do not necessarily have the same gifts. And even if we all do have the same gifts, some of our strengths in certain areas of how we are gifted are bigger than someone else's. And that is what Bunyanga is about. It is so beautiful. It's such a beautiful journey. It is so grounding. For me, my Bunyanga has been my saving grace. And the reason why I can still stand here and be an artist today is because I've had this foundation, this grounding, outside of my parents, who really were very firm.
Yes. No. And I'll take you back to the school days. I think it was called School Girls. Now, what our audience may not know, so when I started out back in the day, I'm revealing my youth. I think you were one of my very first interviews as the School Girls. They were little tots at the time. So that's how far you've come. And you're saying that your family environment had solidified who you are. I mean, they had been the foundation. But let's go back to Isithunywa Sam African Spiritual Concert. What your prospective artists are expected to do, where do they audition, and how do they access this opportunity?
So there's a call out for auditions that start from today, actually. Today and tomorrow at the Pretoria State Theatre, we are having auditions. And we have basically sent out a message to anyone and everyone who can gita and ugu gita. And why we're saying ugu gita is because it is an African spirituality show. So this is what the show is about. It's going to celebrate and embrace us as eNCA, as spiritual children. So we've called for people who know how to shayela, ukshayela gupu, ugu gita, and nokuhlabelela, which is to sing. We've called auditions, but what I wanted to do, I did not want this to just be inclusive to my Mbande or from where I come from. When I say Mbande, I mean the school that I come from. Okay. I wanted to find a time and a point in our lives as Nyangas where we are all gathering and coming together and celebrating who we are, celebrating our Bunyanga, celebrating our gifts, outside of celebrating who we are emgidini. Okay. I wanted for us to be able to have a concert. You know, a lot of artists have a place to go to, or people have a place to go where they can praise and worship and celebrate who they are, praise Jesus, praise whoever it is that they believe in, the higher power, in a concert that is put together for them. And this is what I wanted to do for spiritually gifted children. But I don't just call spiritually gifted. I am calling anyone and everyone who is interested in tapping into who they are as Africans. So we've got these auditions happening today and tomorrow from 11 o'clock till 4 p.m. at the Pretoria State Theatre. And next month, for all of those who are choirs in the apostolic faith churches, I will also, yes, I'm dropping it right now, call for auditions for choirs to come through, because I'm going to be encompassing all of this on this beautiful, beautiful theatrical spectacle that I'm going to be putting together. And I have also followed protocol because, you know, sithanda ukulandela umthetho masiyinyanga. So I did not just want to say all children come, you're welcome. I also wanted us to follow the protocol and understand that these children come from mentors, the ones that have gone through the initiation process. So I have reached out to Okobela, who are the mentors, for those who don't understand the language, to be able to reach out to their children and say, do you want to go for these auditions? This is what is happening. The show is happening on the 7th of October at the Pretoria State Theatre 2023. I know I talk too much.
We love having you, by the way. We really wish you had more time. But you also have your own paraphernalia out, a blanket that has been recently launched. So where's that available before we let you go?
These are our House of Khwedi blankets. You can purchase them for $6.50 per blanket. They're beautiful, beautiful quality mink blankets. You can get them online at www.houseofkhwedi.co.za, or you can also order them on our business line, the House of Khwedi business line, which is 083-491-3449. I know a lot of you have also been DMing me on my social media platforms at Letoya Makhene-P on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. We are taking the orders that way as well. Right now we have released 2 blankets. This one is Ilanga, and then it also has a reversible side. It's the sun, Ilanga. I don't know which camera to show it to. That's Ilanga. And then it is also reversible when you open it, because some schools and some mpandes do also use the black langa.
Because we're seriously out of time, but it was beautiful having you. Really, really excited to see the production as well. As actress and singer Letoya Makhene-Pulumo, creator of Pudumo,
yes,
creator of Isithunywa Sam African Spiritual Concert, 11 o'clock today and tomorrow at the State Theatre for you to do your auditions to be part of this brilliant production.